Good morning, everyone. Thank you for your time. We're here today to present a structured briefing on what we see as a significant opportunity, a new philanthropic model aimed directly at protecting ocean biodiversity. The goal of this session is purely exploratory, to walk you through a clear, conservative concept and discuss how we might co-architect a credible, high-impact solution. So, let's start with the why. Why are we even having this conversation? Well, it's not driven by an internal idea, but by a global imperative. We're facing a staggering $700 billion annual funding gap for biodiversity. It's a massive number, and our oceans, frankly, are the most neglected piece of that puzzle. This gap isn't just a problem for an institution like ours, it's a call to explore innovative, responsible solutions that can guide philanthropy where it's needed most. So here's our roadmap for the discussion. We'll start with the global context, then outline the philanthropic credit model itself. We'll spend a good amount of time on the architecture of integrity and governance, which is crucial, and define some very clear boundaries to mitigate risk. From there, we'll touch on the strategic value proposition for the firm, and finally propose a disciplined, low-risk pilot pathway. Okay, first section, the global context. It's really important to understand that this conversation is happening because the world around us is changing. We're seeing significant shifts in global policy and an urgent structural need for new ways to fund the restoration of life below water. You know, what's startling is that SDG 14, or Life Below Water, is the single most underfunded of all the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. Our oceans are facing this perfect storm of pressures, habitat loss, warming, you name it, and the traditional funding models just aren't keeping up. At the same time, two things are happening. Philanthropists are no longer satisfied with just writing a check. They're demanding verifiable, measurable results. And new disclosure frameworks, like the TNFD, are forcing nature onto the institutional agenda. This creates a real vacuum and a real opportunity for a credible solution. And we're not alone in seeing this potential. This isn't some fringe idea. The concept of biodiversity credits is gaining serious traction globally. Institutions like the World Economic Forum are flagging them as a next-generation tool. But, and this is the most important part, the foundation of our entire model, they only work if they are built on a rock-solid framework of integrity. Without that, the concept fails. Now let's get into the mechanics of the proposed model. I'll hand it over to my colleague to walk you through how we translate philanthropic capital into actual, verified ecological outcomes. Thank you. So at the very heart of this model is something we call the BioSquare Biodiversity Credit. It's best to think of this as an impact accounting instrument. It is a unit of proof. It represents a real, quantified, and, this is key, independently verified improvement in the health of a marine ecosystem. Now, let me be absolutely crystal clear on this next point. This is not a financial asset. It is not a security, it's not an investment, and it is not tradable. This distinction is the cornerstone of the program's compliance-first design. So, how does it work? The flow is intentionally simple and linear to ensure integrity. Step 1, a donor makes a contribution to a registered charity or a donor-advised fund. That's it. They get a standard charitable receipt. Step 2, those funds are deployed to support carefully vetted marine restoration projects, say for kelp or eel ROS beds. Step 3, and this is the most critical part, independent marine scientists go in and verify that specific, pre-agreed ecological milestones have actually been achieved. It's only after that third-party validation that the outcome is recorded by the charity as a BioSquare credit. And that credit stays within the charity permanently. Now, let's move to what is arguably the most important section for this committee, the architecture of integrity and governance. We've designed a multi-layered framework specifically to ensure this model is credible, compliant, and frankly, bulletproof from the ground up. The model's credibility really rests on 5 distinct pillars. First, everything is aligned with established UN frameworks like the Global Biodiversity Framework. Second, all scientific data collected adheres to global standards so it's compatible and transparent. Third, and this is non-negotiable, is a deep commitment to indigenous stewardship and free, prior, and informed consent. Fourth, as I've mentioned, every outcome is verified by independent third-party scientists. And fifth, the whole operation is managed by a CRA-compliant charitable steward. These 5 pillars work together to create a system built on trust and transparency. The linchpin holding all of this together is a strict separation of roles. This is absolutely central to the model's integrity. Think of it this way. The charity manages the funds. The on-the-ground NGOs and community partners do the restoration work. The scientists, with no skin in the game, verify the outcomes, and the role of a wealth management firm is simply to advise clients on the philanthropic opportunity. This structure is purposely designed to eliminate any potential conflicts of interest. All right, let's address the big questions head on. We know that for any new concept, the primary concerns are around risk and compliance. So let's be extremely direct about what this model is and, just as importantly, what it is not. This section is all about de-risking the concept from both a compliance and a reputational standpoint. This table really says it all. This program is an evidence unit of an ecological outcome. It is not an investment product or tradable asset. It is a standard CRA-compliant charitable program. It is not a tax avoidance scheme. It is a tool for voluntary contributions to nature. It is not a carbon offset or a tool to meet regulatory requirements. And finally, it is scientifically verified and transparent, not a source of anecdotal or greenwashed claims. These clear lines in the sand are what give the model its strength and its conservative nature. Thanks. So, with that robust governance in place, how does this connect back to the firm's strategic objectives? The value proposition here is really about aligning with clear client demand, undeniable market trends, and the opportunity for true institutional leadership. So why should this firm consider co-architecting something like this? Well, first, it directly meets the rising demand from clients for philanthropy that is measurable and evidence-based. Second, it clearly differentiates the firm in a crowded advisory landscape with a unique offering focused on SDG 14. Third, it's a powerful tool for legacy planning and engaging with next-generation clients who prioritize verifiable impact. Fourth, it positions the firm as a thoughtful leader in what is an emerging, high-integrity category of nature finance. And finally, and perhaps most importantly, it offers an extremely conservative pathway to explore this space without taking on any market exposure or compliance risk. Now, we are not suggesting a leap into the unknown here. Quite the opposite. What we're proposing is a disciplined, phased pilot program. Consider this an invitation to co-design a conservative exploration where this committee has full oversight and control at every single stage. The approach would be methodical and cautious. Step 1 begins and ends internally. A joint feasibility review with your legal, compliance, and tax experts to pressure test the entire model. Only if that passes muster would we move to step 2, selecting a single, high-quality marine restoration pilot site. From there, we'd establish the charitable channel, implement the project, and then bring in the independent scientists for verification. The final step would be a rigorous post-pilot evaluation to assess the results. Any decision to scale would be based entirely on the evidence and outcomes from this controlled initial phase. So we'd like to end not with a hard sell, but with a collaborative question. We believe there is a genuine opportunity here to build something of real value for clients, for the firm, and for Canada's marine ecosystems. So the question we want to leave you with is this. How might we, working together, co-architect a model that could set the Canadian standard for integrity in nature finance? Thank you. We welcome your questions.